No, they don't. They don't.
Okay.
Right, now, I don't know if Zev is going to be getting on. That's why.
Okay.
All right, wait.
First, I want to apologize to everybody who has to look at my face instead of Kenny's handsome face. Okay.
You got 2 pages.
2 pages?
Well, you got here, this is today, right?
28. Okay.
Right, so that's that.
Okay. And then, so this is all this? Oh, there are new dead people?
Oh, this
Friends.
starts tomorrow.
No, this is the same.
This starts after.
This is,
So
oh,
you'll need
all
this-
right.
you'll need
I'll
this.
read this one and then I go to this one for today.
Yeah.
Okay. We gratefully acknowledge the generosity of those who have commemorated persons who have passed on by giving a contribution to the show to support learning here in theory. Friends of Nina Moinister, Nachama Asna Bas Yitzchak Ara. You're talking during the dead people. Chutzpah. Friends of Stephen Victor, Simcha Melech Ben Meir Leib Halevi. Friends of Marcy Kurtz in memory of her great niece, Leah Bracha Bas Rivka. Isaac and Evelyn Blacher in memory of his sister, Chaya Rachel Bas Isar. And friends of Leonie Meiselman, Leah Sabra Bas Chanach Zundel. Those were years. Month of learning, Sam and Chipra Coleman in memory of his mother, Sarah Rachel Bas Abraham. Ruvain Zev and Susan Podolsky in memory of his father, Tzvi Ben Pinchas. Week of learning, Manny Wertman in memory of his wife, Chaya Sarah Bas Alter Yosef. Michael and Sharon Glass in memory of his father, Yitzchak Tzvi Ben Yechiel Michal. A day of learning by, we have that on the other page, Elaine and Harold Rin in memory of her mother, Baila Bas Yitzchak Yehuda, and Silka Coleman in memory of her father, Yaakov Yehosef Ben Yerachmiel HaKohen. And last but not least, Sandy and Barbara Cohen in memory of his father, Eliyahu Ben Yaakov Kuppel HaKohen. And that is that. Shalashudas this week is sponsored by Jane Rothman in memory of her mother, Pesi Bas Shmuel. All right, we're on Gimel Amid Aleph. So just a very, very brief synopsis. Heretofore, we learned 3 examples where the Mishnah went A, B, and discussed B. Then we learned 7 examples of where the Mishnah went A, B, and discussed A. Then we tried to come up with a rule that would cover it, but we disproved the rule by showing example. The rule was if it's a more than A, B, if it's A, B, C, D, then we go back to A. But the Gemara then challenged that as a rule by telling us an A, B case where there was a list of things and they did first things first. So now we're on Gimel Amid Aleph, and we start at Elalav Dafka. The rule doesn't work. Okay, Zimnan Mefaresh Ahuda Pasuk Beresha. Sometimes the Tana who organizes the Mishnah wants to talk about first things first. V'zimnan Ahuda Salek Mefaresh Beresha. And sometimes he wants to discuss first the thing he mentioned last. Okay, so that's the end of that. Now, Iboy Sema, another possibility is the following. Yados, which are oaths that are not structured, the formal text that's normally used for an oath, but gives the clear implication of what you're trying to swear. Aidi Asin Midrasha. That concept of yados being valid, we learn from a drasha from a pasuk. So meforish lahon bereisha. So since that you have to learn a pasuk to get the notion of what yados are, he jumps right into yados. So Gemara challenges that. The Gemara says the liftach hadain bereisha. So why didn't it start out with yados explicitly? Why doesn't it use the word yados altogether? It just assumes you know them. So miftach pasak b'kinuyim d'iraisa bereisha. So it wants to talk about using alternate word forms, kinuyim, first to tell us that they are d'iraisa. And they're obviously d'iraisa. You don't even need to darshan a pasuk for that. V'hader meforish yados ta'asyin le midrasha. And then he goes immediately into yados, because in order to know that yados are valid, you have to do a drasha. So now we remember we had a discussion. I mentioned this at the Siyam. We will reach, I think on Yud, a machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, whether kinuyim are special made-up words by the Rabbanan because people are reluctant to use the word neder or the word shvua. Because typically when you make a neder, you ended up with korban lashem. So now you're using Hashem's name and you really blew a biggie if you don't do it. So they invented words like koinem or koines to replace the word korban because people would be less likely to add the shem. So one opinion is that rabbis made up these terms. Reish Lakish, that's Rabbi Yochanan, Reish Lakish suggests that these are words borrowed from other languages, and therefore it's self-evident that a shvua in any language or a neder in any language is just as valid as if it's in Hebrew. So, that works fine. That the Mishnah is structured the way it is. If you're going according to the opinion that kinuyim are simple foreign language words, and he wants to tell us that you can use any language. Elalamanda omer lashon shabado lehen chachamim lios noider by, that the kinuyim are words made up by the chachamim in order to avoid using the actual words. My ikelameim, or what are you going to say then? So the Gemara asks, Mi katani yados? Does the Mishnah use the word yados at the beginning or anywhere? The answer is no. Love, it's not chasure kom chasatla. You have to explain the Mishnah as missing words. We did this on Beis, Amid Beis, and you have to add in extra words. So according to the concept of adding in words, we should add the word yados right at the beginning. Call yados nidorim kinidorim, but call kinuya nidorim kinidorim. Any alternate way of phrasing a neder is just as good as the traditional way, and any alternate word form is just as good as the original word form. Elohen yados, and then the Mishnah would go on and say, these are the things that are yados. Ha'amar lechavero, you say to your friend, and we had various, I am vowed to you, I am distanced from you, I am separate from you, etc. So I can't eat your food or taste your food, etc. The Elohen kinuyim koinem koinach koines. And then the Mishnah should say, these are yados and these are kinuyim, and give you at least a partial list of kinuyim. Yod. So now that's like the end of that. Now the Gemara wants to know. We made the we said it a moment ago that yodos are derived from an explication of a pasuk. So the Gemara says, yodos heichekas ksiv. What pasuk are you talking about? So the pasuk is ish ki yifla lindor neder nazir lahazir lashem. A person who, this is a hard word to translate, takes away from himself certain foods and activities, lindor neder, by vowing a vow, nazir lahazir lashem, he becomes a nazir, and he nazirs himself for God. So we have two double lashonos in that pasuk, and we also have an interesting sequence, which the Gemara will talk about. Nazir lahazir, the phrase he nazirs himself to be a nazir, lasos kinuye naziros. So that double lashon would give us the ability to make a drasha that a substitute term for nazir would also make you a nazir. And yodos, naziros, and some alternate form of this statement would also make you a nazir. Ainly ela b'naziros. So far, we've only learned that you can have shinuyim and yodos to become a nazir. What about the other three oath structures? B'nidorim and ayin. How do we know it works with a neder? Talmud Laimar, the same pasuk. Ish ki yifli lindor neder nazir lahazir lashem. We have the words lindor neder, and they precede nazir lahazir. Makish naziros linidarim. So we make a hekesh between naziros, which we just explained, and nidarim, which now we have an explanation. And then we can go nidarim naziros, and you could make the hekesh the other way as well. Ma naziros asabo yodos, just as becoming a nazir, you can use other forms of this to make a statement in another form. Naziros can naziros. You can also make just exactly that becomes, and you become a nazir. Af nidorim asabehem yados nidorim kenidorim. So yados for nidorim, and by extension shvuas, etc., become just as effective as the traditional structure. Okay, Uma nidorim over b'chol. Yeah, no, we said you can make the gezerah shava both ways. So now we're going to learn what that meant, why you can go the other way too. Ma nidorim, just as with nidorim, over v'chol yachel u'v'chol ta'acher, you violate a neder by doing what you said you wouldn't do, or not doing what you said you would do. And that's yachel, that's profaning your neder. But you also violated by unreasonably delaying it. V'chol ta'acher, you violated by putting it off. If I say I'm going to give money to charity, for example, and I make a neder, there's a rule. I have 3 yomim tovim. If I go beyond that, I'm over bal tacher. Similarly, we're going to see if you go and you declare yourself a nazir, if you then eat grape jelly, you violate you're profaning your oath. And if you wait till next Thursday to become a nazir, you're violating bal tacher. Okay. So af naziros. So that works with naziros too. Over bal yachel the ubal tacher. You violate both. Okay. Ma Nidarim, and just as with Nidarim, another way the Hekish works both ways. Ha'av Mefer Nidre Bito, a man can cancel his daughter's Nidarim. Obal Mefer Nidre Ishto, and if it involves him in any, even the slightest way, a husband can cancel his wife's vow or oath. Af Niziros, even with Niziros. Ha'av Mefer Niziros Bito. Obal Mefer Niziros Ishto, the husband, the father for a minor girl or the husband for a woman can cancel a Niziros. And the Naziris obviously affects the husband because you can't give him grape juice. Okay. And they can't make kiddush on what? So Mashna Gavi Naziros. So Gemara says, okay, you brought a pasuk, all these limudim from a pasuk, the subject of which is Naziros. Mashna Gavi Naziros. What's so special about Naziros? Dixiv Nazir lahazir, that it requires this double lashon. Okay, Nidorim nami. We can tell you the exact same thing with Nidorim. Hoksiv lindor neder. Again, you have a double lashon. Bahakeshalamali. So we could learn everything from the double lashonos. What do we need the hekesh for? Ikasav neder linidor. If the pasuk switched the order of those two words, and it said vow to vow a vow, okay, or dixiv nazir lahazir, just as it does say nazir lahazir, to be to nazir, to make myself a. You got the picture, to make myself a nazir and therefore to abstain from activities and foodstuffs. Kedamrat, then what you said is correct. Lo tzorech hekesha. You wouldn't need the hekesh, but the order is not parallel. So you, okay, hashta, tiksiv, linder, neder. Since you have the phrase reversed, then you could argue that I'm going to vow a vow. In other words, you could argue that's just how people talk. Dibra Torah b'lashon b'nei Adam. The Torah is just expressing it the way people normally talk, and you can't make any drushes from that. So hanich l'man de islay. Dibra Torah b'lashon b'nei Adam. There is a view that works fine according to the view that occasionally the Torah says something in the way people would talk, and you can't make a drasha from it. Ela lamanda lesle dibra Torah lashon b'nei Adam. But according to the view that God is the author of the Torah, and he's not going to speak casually the way people do, and there is never a place where God just speaks casually like people do. Hi, Lindor Neder Ma'avidle. What is he gonna do with that reversal of the sequence to make it possibly, according to the other view, more casual? Okay. Dorishle lasos yodos nidorim kinidara. He explains that the double lashon is to create yodos, and to give you that yodos are the same as nidorim. And nazir lahazir, he explains as follows. Dorishle, he explains it malame, to teach you shahaniziros chol al haniziros, that you can actually double up on a naziros. If you were to say, I'm going to say it, but I don't mean it, bli neder, in other words, I am making myself a nazir. Kenny looks at me funny and I said, yeah, I'm making myself a nazir. So I said it twice. So that would give me 30 days for the first statement, plus 30 days for the second statement. You would double up the naziros. So that's what he learned. You double the word, meaning you can double the Naziros. Ulamanda Amra Dibra Torah V'Lashon B'nei Adam, but according to the view that the Torah sometimes is just speaking casually and you can't do a drasha, L'Nazir a Nazir Dorish. So therefore he learns that the word Nazir, I make a vow to be a Nazir, and then the next word explains what it means, that I'm avoiding certain activities and certain foodstuffs, being metame to a nace, getting a haircut are the activities, and eating any grape or grape-related product or drinking any grape or grape-related product are the foodstuffs. Yeah.
Was that considered doubling up? If you stated and then explained it, that's doubling up?
No, if I said the phrase, I am becoming a Nazir, and then I repeat myself, I'm now a Nazir, or I'm becoming a Nazir.
Okay, but the explanation.
No, when I just said if you then said to me, what happens when you're a Nazir? And I say, I can't eat grape juice, drink grape, that's not.
You see, you say.
You repeat the phrase.
Yeah. But instead of repeating it, you give an explanation.
No, that's not a repeating. I'll do it with. I mean, you can't do this, but I won't eat bread. I won't eat bread. Now, if this is not the case, but if eating when I won't eat bread means a week, then I won't eat bread. I won't eat bread would mean 2 weeks. Okay, I'm becoming a Nazir. That's a month. I'm becoming a Nazir. That adds a month, according to this view.
Won't eat bread, not rolls, not bagels.
Well, if you say I won't eat bread, that would include any bread stuff or any paspo b'kislin, so you couldn't eat pretzels or pizza either. Don't do it. Yeah, but you want to say something?
Gluten products.
Right. No, it would not. That's wrong, because you could eat pasta. It would have to be something that is bread or enough like bread that if you ate so much of it to be kovei suda, you would have to bench, like apple pie. What?
Anything that would make a motzi.
Or might have to make a motzi on under special circumstances. Like if you pack in sponge cake, you'd have to make a motzi. All right. So, okay, but that's going off the track. So, Haniach. That's yes and no. Initially, the very first time pizza was discussed, Rav Moshe Feinstein said 3 slices, you have to make a motzi. 1 slice, you make a mazonos. Don't eat 2. Okay, after that, the poskim refined it. If you are kovei suda, so if you have 1 slice of pizza for lunch, you go into the pizza shop, you order a slice of pizza, French fries, and a Coke, and then you go back to work. So that's or school. That's your lunch. You have to make a motzi. On the other hand, if 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're shopping in Grove, and you smell, somebody opens the door of John's and you smell the pizza, and you go in and say, oh, give me a slice, and you start eating it as you get back in your car, then you would make a mazonos. So it's not only volume, it's situational. Okay. So, okay, but this isn't the halacha of Mizonos root class. So, Hanicha is Svarale Commander Omer Ein Naziros Chol Ala Naziros. But what happens if you're of the opinion that you cannot utter the Naziros phrase twice and thus give yourself a double length Naziros? That's another opinion that people hold. Ella isavra le commander omer naziros chol ala naziros. It only works if you're talking about someone who says you can double up. So how would the other group come up with the allowability of doubling up? Manole, what?
Double up would be if he, in either case, if he says I'm going to be a nuzzer for a year, And then he said,
Well, that wouldn't be double up.
That wouldn't be
no,
double
he
up.
said, I'm gonna be a Nazir for a year, and then he says Nazir again,
Okay, then it would be a year and a month.
a year and a month.
Okay, if he said, I'm gonna do it for a year, that would be 2 years. Okay, so don't stutter when you make yourself a Nazir. All right, so name a crow, Lizar. So the pasuk should have reversed the order and say Lizar first.
No.
Mm.
It should have said the word leaser
Oh.
instead of lahazir.
Oh,
could
it
have
should,
said
okay.
leaser.
Okay, it should have used the word Lizar. My lahazir, why does it use the other form of the word? Shamat mine tarte. So we therefore, since it used an expanded form of the word, the extra letters give us the ability to do drashas, and we can do both drashas. The drasha that you can double up, and also the
The drasha of Yados.
concept of yados with niziros. Okay. Bamarava, back in Israel, in the Altaheim, is Tana Lamafik le Yodos le Nazor Nezer. I'm sorry, le Nidor Neder. He learns all the Yodos from that double lashon, the double lashon of vows. Okay, there is Tana Demafik le min kol hayosi mipiv yaaseh. And there is additionally, there's another Tana, there's a pasuk that says, anything you happen to utter, you must fulfill. Okay? Kol hayosi mipiv, anything that comes out of your mouth, yaaseh, you must do. So that's where he gets yados. It doesn't matter if you use the formal description. If you say, I'll be there, you can't not go. It becomes a ke'ain, a neder, if not an actual neder itself. So that's how he learns yados. Amar mar, oman nidorim over ba'al yachil, o ba'al ta'acher. Just as with nidorim, if you do not do it, you violate your oath. And if you push it off, you violate. Do not push off. Do not delay. Okay, so that also now applies to Nisiros. Bishleim Bal Yachel and Nidarim. It is possible. I clearly understand why you say Bal Yachel, you violate, you profane your oath if you don't do what you said with your neder. Mishkachesla, because you see that all the time. Kiganda Amar, Kikazu Ochel, Veloya Achla. I'm gonna eat that roll, and then you never eat it. So you see that happen all the time. Aver Mishum Bal Yachel Devara. But and you also that's where you violate your word. Ela Bal Yachel Naziros. How can you have a case of violating it with Nazirus? Now you have to understand that we're talking here really about the punitive aspects. You get Malchus. So to get Malchus, you have to have a din, do not delay being, for instance, and you have to have a Nazara. And you don't have both, they can't punish you. Okay, that goes with anything. Okay, so Ella Bal Yachel and Naziros, with regard to violating your words with Naziros, how can it be? Kaven da Amar, Hareini Nazir, Havele Nazir. The minute you say, I'm becoming a Nazir, you're automatically, instantaneously a Nazir. So you don't even have a chance to violate your word. If you then eat grape juice, drink grape juice, then you are violating the law of drinking grape juice while you're a Nazir. But you're not violating your Naziros. You still can't get a haircut. Okay, is that clear? Because that's a little tricky. You're automatically a Nazir. Several behaviors are included in Naziros. So if you break one of those rules, you do not un-Nazir yourself. You still are a Nazir, you just violated a rule. It's just like if you go and eat a cheeseburger, you're still a Jew. You just violated a cheeseburger law. You haven't de-Jewed yourself by eating a cheeseburger.
In the middle of your Naziris on the 20th day, if you eat grapes, will you have to start all over?
That's a different
That's
thing.
a different thing.
Didn't we just
Is-
talk about Malachia by Nasirus? That's the.
You can't be, that's gonna be a question.
That's the more
But we just
That's-
talked about
because
that
since
as a
the
previous-
Since
Naziris is
Nazir-
right away.
So
there's no
now we're gonna
Balak.
try and
Okay, but we just
figure
talked
out.
about that. We had the
Right,
heck
Yeah,
that-
so we're getting into that now. So Havile Nazir, if you're a Nazir, Ochal, and then you eat a grape-related project, Kum le bal yochal. You violate the din of do not eat it, and you get malchus for that. And as he points out, for certain of them, you may have to reset. But it doesn't change the fact that for 16 days you were a Nazir. And now you may have to reset, but you do not become de-Nazir. You don't have 10 minutes to go grab a shave.
There's no Balak.
There's no Bal Tacher with Naziros, okay? So kumle bal yishta. So that if you drink grape juice, then you violate, do not drink grape juice when you're in Nazir, okay? So now the Gemara answers that up. Omer Rava, la over a love b'shnayim. Rava says no. If you drink grape juice or eat grape jelly or whatever else, eat a stew with a little wine, then you get malchus for violating your Naziras, and you get malchus again for violating the law of not eating a grape product.
For Balak.
For deferring,
For Balak.
for delaying or deferring. Okay, now, Bal ta'acher, here's the question that's on everybody's mind. If it's instantaneous, Bal ta'acher the Naziros, heichi mishkachas la. So if we say that Naziros is called the instant you finish the statement, how is it possible to defer it, to delay it? So we're going to see. I can make a statement right now, again, there. I will be a Nazir on Tuesday. So if I wait till Wednesday, I'm over Baltacher. But if I cram in as much grape juice as I can between now and then, aside from getting sick, I will not have violated a din. All right, so how can you do that? Kevin da Omer, Hareini Nazir, I'm now a Nazir. Haveli Nazir, you're now a Nazir. Achol kumle bal yochal. So if he eats grape products, he's automatically violates the rule of not eating grape products. So now the Gemara is going to flounder around and try and come up with some cases. Ha'omer kishiyirtza ahe Nazir. All right, I want to become a Nazir, but not till I feel like it. Okay, that's my oath. The Omar kishiyirtza, but if I say I do it when I feel like it, that's when Leika Baltacher. So now there's no delay because you qualified. That's a Havamin. So the Gemara says no. You still are a Nazir instantly because of a certain technicality. You may die in 14 minutes. So if you say, I'll be a Nazir when I feel like it, you have to feel like it right now, because if you die before you become a Nazir, you're going to go to heaven with an unfilled vow. And that you may not make the cut for the big leagues in heaven. So, Omar Rava, Kiganda Omar la yifter min ha'olam ad shitehe Nazir. if I make a vow, I don't plan to die until I experience a month of being a Nazir. The minhahu shaita have le Nazir. Instantly, you become a Nazir. Well, okay, why? The midi dahave ha'omer leishto. It's similar to another sort of a case where you try to defer something, but it has consequences. You say to your wife, "Harezu gitech, here is your get." Shoya achas kaidem nisasi, and it won't take effect till a second or two before I die. So if you happen to be a Kohen Mel and Sydney, Asura lechel truma miyad. Your wife cannot eat truma from the instant you made that statement because she could put the bread in her mouth as she's chewing it. You have a heart attack, and she's now not eligible to eat truma anymore. She's tome because she's near you, and etc. Okay, so she's forbidden to eat truma immediately. Alma amrinin called shaita the shaita dilma mayis. He could drop dead any instant. So
in case of a Yavin, if he gives her get with that knife, it's effect only when he dies. That she won't be Yavin.
no, he can't
Says,
do
I'm
that.
gonna give you a get a minute before I die.
He can't do that. He has to do yibum or chalitza.
Talking about the husband. The husband says to the
Oh,
wife,
that may be why he does it.
yes.
But that.
So it only
All right.
becomes
So
a
I thought I
die.
explained clearly. I'll try again. If you give a get with a condition of that sort, soldiers do it, so that the wife, if he doesn't show up, this get will be effective the instant I die or go MIA. So therefore, you avoid having the problems of being an aguna. Or if I say, I don't, you hate my brother worse than I hate my brother. So I give you the get and say, this get will be effective just before I die, so you don't have to marry my brother, right? Fine. But there are unintended consequences because you could die at any minute. So the major unintended consequence that the Gemara points out is that she cannot eat truma from then on. There may be others.
Why is it from then on as opposed to when
From that moment. Because if he dies, look, you could die at any minute. If she's busy eating supper and there's truma and he dies, so she can't eat truma, but she's got it in her mouth already. She's violated. So it's a prophylactic measure that she doesn't eat truma ever again. All right. Anyway, let's just wrap it up. Hachinami la'alter have nazir de amrinan dilma shaita mayes, that because you can't, if you're automatically a nazir the minute you say it, because who knows, you could die at any second.
Yeah.
We're also supposed to do tshuva just the day before we die. And until then, you can do whatever you want. But you don't know when you're going to die, so you got to start doing tshuva today. And you can't do whatever you want. All right. All right. Tomorrow, those that come, it will be David. Sunday, it will be me. Okay.
Is it over here on Shabbos?
I have no idea. I don't come.
I would assume that the base midrash is not finished being worked on. And so therefore assume that it will be in here.
Okay, so I have to pretend you're not here.
Yeah.
So you weren't allowed to smile. You reacted to what I said. If you're not
No, I
here,
was smiling because I'm over Europe.
immediately.
I'm supposed to have actually.
Yeah, so it's as if you were already in Europe.
No, I would have already been in Eretz Yisrael by now.
Okay. So that means you have to take Trumas and Mice.
Is it here Sunday? I will be, I'm not 100% sure. Michael, take this with you.
And we're Monday?
Okay, well, the new one,
Monday, I'm gone.
I don't see you, Jason, we're showing.
well, this one's finished, right?
No, this
No,
is the new one.
Oh.
This one is finished.
Okay.
Right, you see, people are really starting to come down. And this group is gonna get bigger. We're gonna,
No.
Michael, I mean, your comment about the fact that the group is going to increase in size is that, you know, I spoke,
Already?
I mentioned that to Rabbi Yasser
Right,
at least months ago.
okay.
So the question is,
Well, I think we should struggle to restore the, Hazacha. We always had the scepter, I mean, I lived here 5 years, except for COVID. Then 7:30 was always in the basement, which followed immediately by that stuff, yomi. But in the meantime, we should argue we want to go back. I mean, that's what a base measure is for.
it makes you feel good that you keep
Right? That's logical.
That's good.
All right. Give me.
Good Shabbos.
Well, how's Karen?
She's better.
Oh, wonderful.
So,
Tell her. Tell her we'll.
we're leaving Monday.
You haven't cooked yet. You wanna come for lunch? No, okay.
We went by.
Okay, I could,
We're
it's
okay.
you have a last chance. But you haven't cooked yet.
No, Erwin gets the nothing. Yeah. Right, right, Erwin? What was it, a vort or
Yeah, bored, but nobody spoke.
no?
I said to my fellow, why
They
you calling it a
expected
board?
you to.
Nobody-
They expected you to
Yeah,
sing.
right.
It's called a board because they do the Tanayim.
Right.
Yeah, no time, you engage the party.
Well, we
by
don't do
different names,
Tanayim, then
make,
it's.
try to make a
then it's
donkey look like a horse.
Not-
Good morning. Appreciated your message. I appreciate your message, but Karen was sick. Karen was sick. and Doctor told her she couldn't travel. Okay, what? No, I basically, we have to do the budget. And it's over. And so we've been told now that it's music style. You guys do something. And I suggest that something in the arrow something indicated in the
I don't really want to use them for
that.
We already have been pledged, and I'm gonna try to get at least the guy, if we suggest we hire him, to join the list.
Oh, thanks.
So I don't think it'll be a problem, but
Right.
let's, but
All right.
maybe we'll go with, but you saw the letter, I know. I thought I copied with David Jeffowitz.
The Cowboys.
Chicago.
But what did he say, FYI? It's like he didn't finish his message.
Uh,
Because you said you wanted a thing, maybe we should bring up one.
yeah, but that was Harold's.
Right,
Email to David and you, I think,
Yeah,
right? So,
but then David started, it's like David didn't give a full answer.
not this David.
No, so I don't know. So I sent him back late last night a message saying specifically, FYI what?
I never have seen that.
I gotta take care of all my business.
Either that, or maybe it was my fault, maybe I don't know, actually, I think I started a new email thing, because I didn't want Harold to necessarily see my comments about what I could just share with you, so. But I don't know if somehow maybe I copied and pasted something and the wrong thing came out, maybe I don't know, I'll take it later.
Is Amy in this morning yet? Okay. Okay, Carrie, if she's not coming in? All right, so let's put that on her desk. This is for you.
Oh, okay, so you probably already have that, right?
No, I don't. I didn't know I didn't put the reader, but I don't. So when, give me a date in January. They don't have a date in January. Whether it would do, she said theoretically she could do it in one.
Right,
It puts a lot more pressure on her.
right.
And Marty, you know, I didn't hear from him.
He said he told Sam several times and that he kept writing back to the email, which he should know by now, and it kept bouncing. And he should know by now that office is for or it's not a real email.
You know, maybe every once in a while we should repeat that.
I have told people
Yeah.
over and over again.
All right.
It's an instinct.
I know,
Yeah.
but if it comes back to you 3 times, then he said
Wait,
it's
wait,
only 3
wait,
times.
You know what? There is one other option. I did not get back to Stanley Kaplan
Right,
for this date,
right.
okay? So
Okay,
theoretically,
Andy has to be raised.
you could switch Stanley Kaplan. Some people I informed them of the date, some people I did not. So theoretically, you could switch Stanley Kaplan and put Marty there
Mhm,
on February 13th,
mhm.
which is close enough, so to speak, to what he was asking for. And put Stanley Kaplan, he's gonna be here till Pesach, and
Okay.
put him there. And it would mean we wouldn't start book
That's fine.
reviews till December.
Okay.
All right, okay?
So, the time date, not
No,
the
it's the
same.
same. It's the
Which is
same. So, Tuesday, the 15th. I specifically planned it so that we'll be back in time for that first time. That's, you know, I mean, there's only another time we're gonna do it. We taking it for life as a part of the house, right?
Almost.
How are you, man?